Okay, this is the Hurt 7. It's a fantastic Tabata workout that requires very little equipment, so it can be done just about anywhere. It's an excellent overall body, what am I trying to say? Overall workout for your body. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, Hurt 7's already got me hurting so bad I can't even talk. It requires a little more than one dumbbell or even a bag filled with cans. I'll explain a little bit later. It's a Tabata workout, so we're going 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, alternating, 4 minutes per exercise. Go through the exercises one at a time. We're going to start off with rowboat sumo squats. So rowboat sumo squats look like this. You go with a very wide stance, okay? And you can have your toes angled out a little bit too. And you're going to have your arms out in front like this. You're going to squat down, stand up, and pull the elbows straight back like you're rowing a boat. Okay, just like this. So you really should squeeze the upper back together at the top of each repetition. I'm just going to give you a sideways view here so you can see how it looks. Now, there are a couple progressions on this. One is to take some tubing like this, and you can like loop it around a couple times so that you're holding it at about shoulder width. I like to loop it around so I don't have it dangling, because otherwise if you grip it at shoulder width, you got these dangly ends and it can kind of be a distraction. So I like to go like this and just loop it around a bunch. Now you keep it pulled apart gently the whole time, like that, okay? And then you do the motion. So you're gonna go like this, squat, row, squat, row. But the whole time I'm pulling that band apart. So now I'm bringing in a whole other set of muscles in the upper shoulders and upper body. A further progression that you can mix in is to do a pump at the bottom of each squat. So you go down, pump, row, just like that. Great exercise for the upper and lower body. Now, the next exercise you're going to be doing is the Charlie's Angel lunges. So Charlie Angels was a movie with a cowboy, cowgirl theme. So you're going to make gun hands like this, okay? Now what you're going to do here is you're going to do a reverse lunge, and you're going to swing your arms overhead like you're shooting up to the sky. Reverse lunge, swing the arms up overhead. So just a sideways view of that. Looks like this. Okay, now when you're doing that motion, swinging the arms overhead pulls the myofascia, so it helps to stretch out the front of the hips, in particular the hip flexors. When hip flexors are too tight, they attach to the low back, so they can create some low back tension. So that'll help loosen you up. Now, a progression is to do this motion, keeping your heels up the whole time. So you see how my heels are up? I'm balancing on the balls of my feet. It's going to be a balancing act for your foot and ankle. So heels are up the whole time, just like that, okay? And then a further progression is to go backwards traveling. So instead of just stepping back and returning back to start, you actually travel backwards. So it'd be like this. And just make sure that you have clearance behind you. When you run out of room, if you're down a hallway or something like that, you just turn around. Backwards traveling Charlie's Angel lunges, that would be the final progression. Next exercise is wall rebound push-ups. So you're gonna have your hands on the wall in a push-up position, and you're gonna keep your heels up at all times. Now you're going to bend your elbows down and out at a 45-degree angle to press yourself towards the wall. Then you rebound off just a couple inches like that. So you're powerfully throwing yourself off the wall. That's going to work chest, shoulders, triceps, a little bit of the core. Now as a progression, you'd go down to like a higher ledge, something like this, and you do the same motion, okay? As a further progression, you can go down onto something a little bit lower, like an exercise bench, like this one here. And you can do a similar. So you just want to start off using the wall, maybe work your way to a high ledge, like a firm table or a counter, then down to something like an exercise bench. Then those would be the variations on the wall, rebound, push-up. Now, the next one is pointy feet bicep curls. So for this one here, you're going to have your feet pointing up the whole time. So I have my feet up. See, that's flat, that's up. Flat, up. Keep them up the whole time. That's going to work your shins. Now you're going to have you're going to be holding the dumbbell down with a underhand grip, so your palm faces forward, and your free hand is on the wall. And you're going to be doing bicep curls, like so. Now, because this is one of those workouts that you can do anywhere, I'm going to demonstrate an alternative. If you don't have the dumbbell, you can just use some sort of a grocery bag like this and fill it with cans. And I've done this before and gotten a fantastic workout with it. And if you look inside, I have like 3 to 6 cans in here. I've got about 5 at the time. It's just like cans of beans and soups and things like that. Just things that aren't going to break if you're rattling them around, okay? Now, that's your option there, is to switch it up with the cans. If you want to progress the movement, you just do a pump at the top. So you do a little 1 or 2 inch pump, lower 1 or 2 inches, all the way up, lower down, and repeat, okay? So just like that. So those are some different variations. Now you alternate sides each set, but if you want to progress it, you can do 8 sets per side. Now the next exercise is for the calves, but you're also mixing in a quadricep stretch. The quadriceps being really tight can aggravate the knees. So we want to keep them loose if we can. So you're going to get into a quadricep stretch position. So you're going to grab your ankle like this and hold it up behind you. Free hand on the wall. Now, sometimes people don't have enough flexibility to reach around and grab their ankle behind them. In those cases, I just recommend you grab a towel or a tube or something and then just lasso your leg and then pull it up, okay? So that's the option there, because that is, a lot of times the quads can be so tight, and if they are that tight, it means you absolutely need it. So you're in a quad stretch like this. Now to get more of a stretch, you lean forward and you pull the knee up behind you more. And then you're doing a calf raise. On the standing foot, you push from the big toe and you're lifting your heel all the way up and down like that, okay? So that's going to be great for the foot and ankle stabilizers. You're not going to rest at the bottom, so you just tap the heel, go all the way back up, and you're loosening up the quads at the same time. The next one is upper back arm crossovers. So there's a lot to know about this one here. I'm just going to go through it with you. You're going to be laying face down like this, okay? So I'm completely flat. My arms are outstretched in front. I rest my forehead down on the ground. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross my arms over and uncross, cross, uncross, cross, uncross, cross, uncross. Repeatedly, keeping the arms up off the ground. Now, if you have to, you can rest the arms down when you uncross them, briefly, like this. Rest, rest. Every time you cross the arms over, you switch which hand is on top. If this bothers the back, then you want to squeeze your glutes before you do it. So I'm just going to give you the side view. So if you have a sensitive back on this one, squeeze the heck out of the glutes. If you want to progress it, it's very rare, then you might just grab a couple of those cans, and you can do it holding on to cans or light water bottles or even light weights. But even using 2 pounds is a huge progression on this exercise because of those long levers, and we don't tend to be strong in this position. It requires the upper trapezius, the upper back. It requires a lot of postural muscles that just don't get as much love. So you're going to find it's not too hard to really overtax those muscles. So just be gentle on those progressions. Now the final exercise here is leg lowering. This is for the lower abdominals. Now what you're going to do here is you're going to be laying face up like this. Now if you do have some issues with your low back, sometimes you can roll a towel and just place it under your low back just to help you keep that curve so you're not rounding it, okay? The key with this exercise is we need to keep the low back on the ground at all times as well. So we need to keep it pressed into a towel or pressed flat into the floor. Hands down by your sides. You bring your knees all the way up and in. Now you point them up. Now you lower them about halfway down. Tuck them back in. Point up. Lower about halfway down. Tuck in. Up. That's leg lowering. So we're really emphasizing the lowering portion because we just tuck it in for the raising back up portion. The reason for that is that if you keep your legs straight and raise them up, you may tighten more of the hip flexors. So this takes the hip flexors out of the equation. As a progression, you lower down even deeper, okay? So you bring your knees up and in, up. Now you go as deep as you can without any movement in the low back, so that we're not pivoting from the low back. Up and then low, like so, making sure you're not pivoting anywhere else and that your abs are doing the work and we're not just teetering off the pelvis. Okay, so that there is leg lowering. That concludes the HURT 7. This is a great exercise to get in just about anywhere. If you're traveling, you can do it outside and get some sun. You'll feel it everywhere. It's fantastic. It's easy to do. I know you're going to love it.